On today's video, I'm basically going to go through two different niches, utilizing all of these different tools to show you how it can be used whether you're a print-on-demand seller, a handmade seller, a digital product seller, even a service seller. Etsy is more competitive than ever. Every single day, thousands of new sellers join the platform, making it harder and harder for us to stand out, rank in search, and get consistent sales. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed or stuck trying to figure out what actually does sell, trust me, you're not alone in this. But here's the thing, data doesn't lie. There's a smarter way to grow your shop without wasting hours guessing what might work. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in today's video. I actually got this exact question in our Facebook group recently. Is EverBee really worth the money? And here was my honest answer. I've personally been using EverBee for over 3.5 years, even before I partnered with them. Back when I was just trying to crack my own Etsy code. I would scream about their tools on my old TikTok account just because I wanted to help someone else save time. It literally cut my research time in more than half. And in my opinion, time is money, and it's the only thing that we cannot buy more of. So in this video, I'm going to walk you guys step by step through EverBee, the ultimate tool for Etsy sellers, so you can find winning products, uncover hidden trends, and make data-driven decisions that actually move the needle in your business. First and foremost, what exactly is EverBee? Simply put, it is the ultimate Etsy research tool that helps you find winning products, analyze competitor sales, and discover the best keywords all in minutes instead of hours. It does product research. It also helps with revenue analytics, keyword research, profit calculator, and last but not least, something that is new is our daily trends feature. This allows you to stay ahead by tracking real-time Etsy trends. And now I'm going to show you exactly how to use it step by step, starting with my favorite, product research. So the first thing I want to quickly mention is you can actually do all of the research that we're going to do today in two different places. You can either go to Etsy.com and just make sure that you have the Chrome or Microsoft Edge extension for EverBee, or you can simply go to everbee.io and have all of the tools that you need as well. So if we go to Etsy.com and we have our EverBee Chrome extension installed, you'll see a little panel pop up on the left-hand side. And you'll also want to connect your Etsy store to EverBee. Now, if you're just starting out and you don't have an Etsy store yet, you can absolutely use EverBee to still do research. But when you want to start understanding exactly how your shop is performing, you're going to want to connect that by simply just clicking Connect Etsy Shop, and then you will see the name of your Etsy shop right here at the top left-hand corner. So let's go ahead and take one niche for today. We're going to do Mother's Day because when I'm filming this video, it is the end of February of 2025, so we should already be on the horizon looking out for Mother's Day products. So you'll see I typed Mother's Day into the search bar and my little worker bees got to work. So what these do is basically tell you how each of the individual keywords or key phrases are performing based on the auto-filled keywords or key phrases that Etsy is populating for us. And then you're also going to see something that says see more. So something that's cool here is if you did not have the EverBee Chrome extension, you would only see what Etsy is populating for us. So yes, that is still going to tell us that these are more than likely being currently searched right now, but we have an even better amount of data by simply utilizing this Chrome extension. It really gives us an idea, no matter what type of seller we are, what other things we might be able to get into. And then if we were to click the see more button on any of these, it would take us to EverBee's keyword research tool, which would allow us to dive even further into that particular phrase. So for this case, let's go ahead and just choose the one with the most search results at 11,621 for Mother's Day gift. All right, so again, if you have the EverBee Chrome extension, when you go to a certain search page on Etsy, you're actually going to see something that's new. We used to have to click on a listing to be able to go into the listing details to see the listing details. But now we have a little bit of a high-level overview here for each of them. So you can easily peruse through literally hundreds of listings in a matter of like minutes because EverBee's already giving you that high-level data before you ever click into it. We're going to have monthly sales, total views, listing age. We're also going to have two different features that allow you to add that listing to favorites, which again is just a convenient thing so that you can easily come back to that particular listing without having to click into it immediately right now. We also have open listing details. So that's a very easy little clickable link right there within the high level details. It is going to take us to the original form that we would have seen in the product listing page before. However, EverBee has updated this interface even more to make it even more customizable and convenient for you guys and provide even more data so you can make even more executive decisions for your business. So right now in the listing details, it looks pretty similar to what it was before. We're seeing monthly sales, revenue, total sales, listing age, reviews, etc. We also have the ability to go view this particular item on Etsy, which is really helpful because right now we're obviously just on a search page. We're also seeing conversion rate, category, etc. But something that is new that I really wanted to spotlight, this just came out actually in February of 2025, so basically a week before I made this video, and it's called Daily Trends. Basically what you're going to see is the daily trends for this particular listing. So you'll see for the past, let's just see 30 days is what we currently have. So January 20th through February 19th, for example, there were 982 sales for this particular product, which equaled around $39,280 in revenue. Now, I do want to make a quick note that revenue does not equal profit. And I hope you guys understand that when I am saying revenue, like gross versus net. When we see these numbers, they tell us a story that this is selling, but we also need to be smart and take into account that we are not seeing what this person is doing to create this listing. This might be a print-on-demand product. They might be experiencing 30% profit margins. We also are not technically right now looking at the Etsy fees or Etsy transaction fees or credit card processing fees. So we have to take $39,280 with a grain of salt. This is still a very important number to look at because it means that this item is driving sales. Now, do I know this person's exact profit breakdown? Absolutely not, nor can we necessarily, but we do have an Etsy profit calculator that we're going to go over a little bit later in this video. So back to the trends, what you can do is easily go day by day during that period. And right now, by the way, just so you can see how these dates work, today when I am recording this video, it is February 26th, 2025. And you'll see this goes from January 20th through February 19th. So at the bottom, you're going to see the estimates begin past 7 days from today. However, data is updated on a daily basis. So we are 7 days in arrears, and I wanted to make sure you guys saw that. So you're not like, why is my listing not showing? That is exactly why, because it's 7 days behind. You're also going to be able to see a growth rate. So what was the rate of change during that period based on the prior period? So based on the prior 30 days in this case. So this particular listing went down by 30% based on how it performed in the month of January, or like December 20th through January 19th. But I do see in the month of March, April, and May, this growth rate actually skyrocketing and severely increasing as we get closer and closer to Mother's Day. Last up down here is going to be probably my favorite piece of this. This is something that has been pretty much around since EverBee started, and it allows us to kind of see the keywords that someone else is using, or the key phrases, the long tail key phrases that someone else is using that is competitive in our space. However, something that's different with our new interface updates is we actually kind of, I don't want to say judge, but we kind of judge the keywords for you utilizing red, yellow, and green dots now. So kind of like think about a stoplight, for example. So yellow is like, maybe this could be beneficial to you, but maybe we might want to click on it and look a little bit deeper. Red is, ooh, that might be not the best idea, but if you want to use it for more research, sure, to try to find another one that is green or yellow. Green, however, is going to be like, oh yeah, this is a really, really good one. And I want to really quickly let you know where those numbers are coming from. So the keyword score is, if you look up at the top right here, the keyword score for EverBee is actually just an EverBee metric. So I don't want you to necessarily take this and start copying and pasting all of the keywords. This is a metric that basically equals the volume right here. So this column, so the volume for that key phrase in ratio with the competition for that key phrase. So how many other listings are showing up and utilizing that particular key phrase times 1,000. So what I want to be very, very clear on and very cautious with you guys as well is if someone spelled something wrong and like, let's just say gifted, but they forgot the D. So it's just GIFT. And a lot of someone's did that. So let's just say 1,000 people accidentally forgot the D while they were searching on Etsy in the Etsy search bar. The volume is going to be green, hands down, because there is 1,000 people that are actively looking for this. And then the competition is going to also be green because there's going to be no one like us, the listing people, the people that are actually using the keywords. We are not going to be writing things wrong. We are not going to be using incorrect or misspelled words in our tags. So the competition is obviously going to be smaller, which means keyword score is going to be significantly large. But keeping in mind that we are taking that keyword score with a grain of salt simply because the keyword itself was misspelled in the first place. So just remember, keyword score equals the ratio of the volume versus the competition for that particular key phrase times 1,000. All of these are green, but they're only under volume. All of these, however, are red because the competition is super high. So the absolute best best bet for you guys when you are on the hunt for the right keywords and the right key phrases is how can I find something that is both green and green, yellow and yellow, green and yellow, yellow and green, etc. If you can find a perfect pair of those are the keywords that you're going to want to utilize. I'm going to actually jump in now to the product analytics dashboard because that's one of my favorite places to go when I am just on the hunt for something that might be beneficial for my shop. Again, Mother's Day gift is what we chose, and then I'm going to come over here to my EverBee panel and click on product analytics. And there's a couple of things that are a little bit different in this space than they were last year as well. So the first thing that you'll see at the very top, which I really love using personally, is page results 60 listings versus EverBee database 130 million plus listings. When I am trying to make the most data-driven decisions, I want to make sure that I am clicking EverBee database because a second ago we were only making decisions based off of 60 listings, but now we are making decisions based off of 2.3 million listings. So it gives us a much larger quantifiable focus group in order to make, again, those more intentional data-driven decisions. So within the product analytics dashboard, you can see a multitude of different things. So obviously we have average reviews, views, favorites, listing age, the list goes on, and then you can obviously scroll all the way to the right as well. You can even come up to the top right-hand corner, go ahead and click on customize if you want to see even more things. So for example, I don't really care about seeing the shop name personally, so I have that toggled off. And maybe I guess I didn't when I did this, didn't really care about seeing reviews. If you want that, you can seriously toggle it on, and then those will actually be added to the page for you. So you saw that grow bigger and grow smaller. So you can easily come in and customize exactly what you see for your particular research process. Another thing that you can do that I personally do every single time is I go to filter because I want to be able to not only have the best quantifiable focus group that I can do my research on, but I want that focus group or that focus group of listings to be intentional and potentially to be smaller. So I don't have to go through 2.3 million listings to find a winner. So what I personally like to do is come into, if you scroll over a little bit to the left, I like to go to listing age, first of all, and I like to do a maximum listing age of 6 months. However, if you are currently doing something like Mother's Day, for example, where we are 3 months away from Mother's Day still, it might be beneficial to you to do 15 months because you're looking at what Mother's Day was leading up to Mother's Day, but also what is happening right now as well. So in this case, I'm just going to do 6, but just be very mindful and cognizant of the season that you're in and the research that you're trying to perform. In this case, I'm going to do 6 months. I also personally like to go to monthly sales as well because I want to see something not only that's young in age, but I also want to see something that is actively performing right now. So for monthly sales, I want to do a minimum of 30. Now, keep in mind, if you're doing digital downloads or something of the sort, those might sell many times, but they also might sell at very small prices. So if your competitors are charging $1.50, but you have 30 sales, I can't really do math, but that really is like $40 in monthly revenue. So also be cognizant and mindful and intentional about this filter based on what you are trying to research. So if you are doing digital downloads, for example, you might instead want to choose monthly revenue rather than monthly sales because you're going to be able to go on a dollar amount rather than a per item inventory amount. And last but not least, I also like to come over to shop age because this is going to be a metric that allows me to see that not only is this listing young, not only is this listing selling at least 30 times per month, but the shop is also young. So especially if I am a brand new person to Etsy and I'm thinking about getting into it, I like to do shop age to see all of those 3 things are stacking up. So this product might be my best viable option to move forward with. So for shop age, I'm also going to go ahead and just do 12 months. All right. So now we have gone, because we did those filters, we have gone from 2.3 million listings to now 209 listings that we can now analyze. And of course, if you want to add even more filters, like maybe you want the monthly revenue as well as the monthly sales, maybe you want to look at favorites, because even if something isn't selling, but a lot of people are favoriting it, that might mean that it will sell very soon, or it'll sell as we get closer and closer to Mother's Day in this particular case. So feel free to make this list even more drilled down for what you're looking for. But in this case, I feel very confident at the 209. So the next thing I personally like to do, which has actually already been been done because I do it so often, is I like to filter by monthly revenue, getting the monthly revenue up to the top. You could also do the exact same thing with monthly sales, so getting the highest amount to the top. So I'm actually able to see what is doing well with all the filters that I put, but is doing the best out of all those filters that I put. So in this particular case, I am seeing personalized name necklace, magnetic yarn ball holder, which is something I would have literally never in my life looked up. I've tried embroidery. It is not for me. I cannot sit still that long. And I would have never necessarily thought that that would be a Mother's Day gift. But when we think about Mother's Day, when we think about Christmas, when we think about birthdays, it's not really like Happy Mother's Day. You don't want that on a shirt, right? You want to think about the mother. You want to think about that person's personality and what their hobbies are. So it makes sense that the second best seller utilizing my filters is something that fits that mother's hobbies. But I would have literally never known this, and I would have never looked this up, nor would I have ever known that this might be something that would be profitable in the Mother's Day space had I not used EverBee's product analytics dashboard and then did all of those filters while also making sure that I was looking at the entire database of listings that we have access to. So that is just proof that this is a really, really intentional strategy if you know how to use it. So while we're in here, something else I want to show you guys is you can actually include and exclude words. So let's just say Mother's Day gift, for example, and you see the first one is a necklace. Maybe you want to include necklace, or you want to include jewelry or something of the sort. So still being in the filter section, I'm going to go ahead and just type in jewelry, for example. And now that's going to get to work to lessen that list even more to only include things that are jewelry based. But maybe you don't want to see jewelry. You could also do the exact same thing by typing that into the exclude section instead of the include. So now we are basically presented with only things that are being represented by utilizing the term jewelry, whether that be in the title or their tags. All right, so the last little update that we did is as you're going through product analytics dashboard, you can actually hover over one of the listings and be able to get a high level overview, just like you did when you were on the original Etsy search from earlier, of exactly what this listing is going to look like, and then be able to determine if you want to go a little bit deeper. So I can see the full blown title. First of all, I can see the price, who it was sold by, and how many monthly sales there are. And then of course, if I click on it, it's going to take me to that place that we saw earlier. Another thing I want to quickly hit on really quick with you guys is the shop details as well. So again, a second ago, I chose to filter out by shop name, so I wasn't really necessarily worried about that. But if we come and click shop details, we can actually find things that might be something that we want to watch. We can find competitors that maybe we might not have found without it. And then we can also go even deeper on that particular shop itself with our new shop analyzer tool. So right now, this little high level shop details place is going to give us the total sales, where they're currently located, how old the shop is. Again, I wanted it to be under 12 months, the total reviews they've received, and how many listings they have. And these numbers are very sexy to me because not only is this shop less than a year old, but it only has 27 listings and it has sold over 13,000 sales in 10 months. So this is proving to me that, like, if I was in the jewelry space and if I was in like the personalized gift space, this might be a place that I want to learn more about, that I want to dive into, and that I want to maybe fill a gap in this already currently profitable market. And if I want to dive even deeper into silver and gold USA, for example, I can click Analyze Shop, and then we're going to get access to the Shop Analyzer tool, which again is a new feature in the EverBee dashboard. So you're going to see monthly sales, shop stats, which includes the review rate, which basically means like how many times someone purchased versus how many reviews were made for that particular shop. Total revenue, oh my God, being over $502,000, $502,000 almost over the course of 10 months. I don't know about you guys, but that is life-changing money, and I would have never known about these had I not put these filters in place through EverBee and Etsy. The total listings, again, how long this person has been here, the estimated total revenue, give or take, and then the average price for their listings, which is also really helpful for us as people who are trying to gather data to be able to make our own decisions. If we are in the jewelry space, if we are in the personalized jewelry space, knowing that his or her, that was assumptive, knowing that their average price is around $36 for the listing, and then coming over here and seeing the most expensive listing is $46, the least expensive is $30, that gives me a good range that I might be able to stay in for my own shop. You can also obviously come to listings, which is really cool because it was actually going to bring up the product analytics dashboard for the listings for this particular shop. So of course I could have gone back to product analytics myself and done all of this, but we made a little bit of a shortcut for you. So now you can, in the shop analyzer tool, simply just click listings and be able to analyze all 27 of this particular shop. So you can actually go through the reviews as well. So this is something that's going to be so beneficial for your research process, because maybe there is a gap that you can fill. There is something that you can serve your customers on because something was missing for this competitor. So you can easily scroll through these. You can see there's 1,800 reviews, which is amazing, but you can kind of see, is there anything that I might be able to do better because someone complained about, or, you know, take that with a grain of salt too, because people love to complain on the internet, little keyboard warriors. But getting some data here. So instead of new first, we can actually, like, I don't love doing this, but we do have the ability with EverBee to actually go by the negative comments. So we can see exactly what we are dealing with and what this competitor has dealt with their customers, and see if there's anything that we can do to maybe utilize that in our business planning process. And last but not least, you can also go into the about section of the shop analyzer and kind of see exactly what they're currently doing, their shop policies, what their vacations look like. So like, what is their message to buyers? Again, this person doesn't have anything, but if it was a digital shop, there's usually always a message to buyers because it's letting them know, hey, thanks for purchasing. You're going to get a digital download in your Etsy download section, etc. So depending on what type of business you're looking at, there might be a message to buyers or a message to buyers digital. We're also going to see the current shop announcement and if they have a vacation message. So what's cool, again, I could have easily gone to Silver and Gold USA on Etsy and found this shop announcement. Yes, I would have never seen the message to buyers, however, even though they don't have one, bad example, but I would have never seen that because I'm not buying, right? We're just researching. Yes, I would have seen the shop announcement, but it would have taken me about 3 extra steps to get there. But because I combined Etsy and EverBee to find this, I was able to also get this very quickly with the shop analyzer section. So next up, we are going to get into the keyword research tool, which is going to be able to hopefully give you guys the right titles and tags that you need for your business. All right, so now diving into one of my absolute favorite features within the EverBee tool is actually the keyword research tool. So on the left-hand side, we can go into the keyword research tool itself, like the dashboard, and start typing things in, or we can also go back to Etsy, type in what we wanted, so in this case Mother's Day gift, and then just click the see more option. For today's purposes, since we already did Mother's Day for the first half of this video, I'm going to go ahead and choose a secondary niche to get into the keyword research space. So let's go ahead and choose the gardening niche. So when we type in gardening, we are seeing a couple things pop up, like gardening itself around 3,800 monthly searches, gardening gift set at around 627, and then we're seeing some other ones that I don't know why they're coming up, to be honest, but we're going to go ahead and just click on see more next to gardening. And what this is going to do is actually take us to the keyword research tool directly related to that particular keyword itself. And at the very top, it is going to show you the search volume for this keyword, so gardening, the competition for it, and again, that keyword score that we hit on earlier, being the metric of the volume versus the competition times 1,000. But what else can be done on this page is being able to find better things. So maybe gardening is not exactly what we want to use because of the high competition at about 1.2 million, but is there anything else that we can get into? Are there any other keywords that we could possibly use knowing that we are in this space? So a lot of people like to use the keyword research tool to, of course, research other keywords that they can use for their tags, in their titles, in their descriptions, in their alt text, etc. But I like to use the keyword research tool a little bit different, and I want to tell you guys about how, because I think it might be able to help you with your product research as well. So when I am in the keyword research tool and I see a keyword that is a little bit heavier in competition than I would like, and I start going through all of the rest of the options to determine if there's something else that might be more beneficial, I actually pretty much always 100% of the time stumble upon other product ideas that I might not have thought about in the first place. So what I'm going to do is just filter first and foremost by keyword score. I'm going to get the highest keyword score up to the top. Again, keeping in mind that some of these keyword scores might might be super big because they are spelled wrong. So we're just gonna take that with a grain of salt and move on to something that we can find. So let's just use this for example, Christmas gift for gardener. Now there's a bunch of weird dashes and hyphens in the middle of it, and we also know it's not Christmas right now, but I am seeing that twice, and I wonder, I'm also seeing gift for gardening mom, personal gift gardening, this strange word, floralful, gardening artful gifts. So all of these are weird. We're not going to necessarily pop them in our description. We're not going to pop them in our title, in our tags, but I am getting an understanding that gardening gifts is being looked up a lot, even though I only looked up gardening, and it's simply because I utilize this tool. Let's scroll a little bit more until I find something else. Okay, here's one. So garden gifts for grandmas. Now granted, it's a little bit spelled weird and there's, some spacing issues, but 871 people spaced this thing wrong. So I'm wondering, this is what I'm using the keyword research tool for. I'm wondering if I were to go up to the keyword search bar again, and then I put garden grandma and see what would happen. All right, now we're talking. So garden grandma has a really healthy search volume still at around 2,100, but there's only 46,000 people in competition for that, giving us a keyword score of 50. So because I went in here and I utilized this as potentially a product space or a niche space, a cross niche or a sub niche space, that is what I'm using the keyword research tool for, rather than actually finding keywords. Yes, you can absolutely do that while you're here as well. Highly recommend, but it's also going to give us other opportunities of maybe things we could get into. Diving even further, knowing the grandma garden concept, I'm also seeing custom birth month flower plant pot, grandma's garden plant pot. Lord have mercy, say that 10 times fast. But it's kind of giving me an idea that that might be something that grandmas are interested in, because obviously 41 people for some reason typed this in. I don't know how they all typed this in so atrociously, but for some reason 41 people did. And then we're also seeing 81 people are looking up garden pillow. So maybe there is a birth month is that right? Birth month flower gardening thing for grandma. And maybe there's also a pillow idea that we can use for grandma. So in the gardening space. So that's what I kind of wanted to show you around in this, guys, is like, this is a multi-level tool in my opinion. And you can also, by the way, just because we're here on a tutorial, we can always customize by taking things out, adding them just like we did in the product analytics dashboard. And again, we can also filter as well. So just want to make sure you were aware of that. The last little thing that I want to show you guys real fast. Let's go back to gardening itself. Okay, so I actually did the keyword score up to like the lowest keyword score up to the top, because I'm trying to find something that someone else might actually be typing in. Because in the keyword research tool, you also have the ability to come over here and look at these three little dots. So these three dots are going to take you to a couple of different places. Number one is you can copy the keyword to your clipboard. So it's very easy to just copy and paste with Control V on your computer. We're also going to see view in Google Trends. So this is going to be a place that's a little bit different than where it used to be, so I wanted to make sure I spotlighted this. This is going to be a place where we're going to be able to see this is not only performing on Etsy, but it's also performing just strictly on the largest search engine in the world. And are there any things that might be related to it as well? So if we open this up for this particular idea, it looks like gardening with dog ornaments did not work in my favor. Let me see if I can find another one. Okay, garden spring clip art. Let me see if there's something here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this one, garden spring clip art, in Google, we can see that there was a peaked interest from April 7th through 13th of 2024. And more than likely why is because we're getting into spring at that point, if we're not already in spring. I live in Lansing, Michigan, so I am not in spring at this point, but a lot of people in the world are. Then we're also seeing a little bit of a peak from February 16th through, what was the other time? February 16th through February 22nd had a little peak in garden spring clip art as well. Then if we scroll down, we can also usually see if there is a related topic. I'm obviously in a very, very deep sub niche right now. But if you go a little bit broader in your keyword research and you kind of start high level and more broad, you might be able to find even more related topics here. So obviously garden is the topic that is related to this particular one. And when you're in the keyword research tool, you can easily just type in as many things as you want into the search bar as well. So even though we started with gardening, you can literally just pick up and go. But there's also 36 million keywords that are currently on my homepage of Etsy as well. So even if you literally just logged into Etsy and open up the keyword research tool within your, side panel, you're going to start to see the tags that people are actually using, potentially on that search bar. And then the last thing I want to show you guys, I'm actually going to step around a little bit because we're going to go back to product analytics, because we also have the tag analytics in this section. So it is keyword research tool centered. So that's why I'm saying it now rather than earlier. But let's just say we chose gardening, for example. We go ahead and do EverBee entire database because that's what we wanted to do earlier. And then instead of product analytics, we're going to click tag analytics. This is going to be a location that is basically going to be like all of the different listings that we are currently looking up based on the parameters that we set, based on the filters that we put in. These are the keywords that people are using on those listings. So attached to gardening and attached to the filters that I put in, there are 225 tags, keywords, or key phrases that are currently being found. So the good thing you can do here as well is when you're in that space, instead of just using the keyword research tool, you can also tag team the product analytics tool and go to tag analytics and figure out for that particular niche or that particular product or whatever you're looking at, what tags people are using collectively in there. So for example, again, if we go keyword score up to the top, we're going to see things like we fight, we win, which is interesting that people are using that. So I just typed shirt, for example, into product analytics just to kind of show you guys a little bit more broad what's going to happen. There are 229 tags that are currently being found under that. And we're just finding like coolest reindeer. Obviously, there's a lot of things here that are trademarked, so I wouldn't recommend using them. But you can see like skeleton bats, which for some reason is currently trending in the shirt space. And obviously, for political reasons, that one is trending as well. We're also seeing, unfortunately, a lot of things that are trademarked, but like sadness t-shirt, waiting Halloween, 2024 grad shirt, etc. So that's what I personally like to use the tag analytics for, is to kind of figure out what things are actually being searched for the actual like niche that I'm currently in. And one last thing I want to show you guys as it relates to product analytics is if we scroll over that 3 little dots in there as well. So we did that in the keyword research tool already, but if we go back to product analytics, we also have those 3 dots there, and you can favorite that in particular listing to your favorites. You can also view it on Etsy, and you can also be taken directly to the Etsy profit calculator, which is the thing that we are going to get into next. So last but not least, on today's full-blown updated EverBee tutorial, we are going to get into the Etsy profit calculator. So like I've mentioned, you can find all of these things over here on the left-hand panel, as long as you have that EverBee Chrome extension. But the Etsy calculator is a really fun one. It's actually been even more enhanced since Q4 of 2024 on EverBee. So if you've used it in the past and you kind of like forgot about it, it might be time to like re-engage with it, because we've added so many new features in here to make, again, even more data-driven decisions. So what the Etsy calculator does is it can kind of do 2 things. Number one, it can kind of give you an idea of what a competitor is doing and how they are currently pricing things. And then like maybe potentially with as much knowledge as we have about the product, we might also be able to get an understanding of where their profit margins currently set. The second thing that it does is allows you to kind of build from scratch and set your profit margin and really get an idea of like, if you want to start offering discounts, or if you want to maybe have like a higher profit on a print on demand item, but you don't really know what that higher profit could or should be based on like what you're having to pay, which is the cost of goods sold. We'll go over that in a second. Then this is what's going to be able to help you figure that out from the start. So doing it from the get-go, just from scratch, you're going to see zeros everywhere. And this is where you can just basically build out your own. So option 2, we said a second ago. So for example, let's say I wanted to sell this crew neck sweatshirt. It's a Gildan 18,000. Let's say I got it from a print on demand supplier, and I know that my cost for the item, so like I have to pay my POD supplier to get this item itself, is $12. I also know that it's going to cost me $4.80 in order to ship it to myself. So once I start putting these in, all of these numbers on the right hand side are going to start building out for me. So the COGS, the cost of goods sold, is already negative, quote unquote negative, $60 $16.80 because I'm paying $12 for the shirt and I'm paying $4.80 for shipping. We're also going ahead and building in the Etsy transaction fees as well. So for this, you're going to get charged 20 cents every time you do a new listing, every time you make a new sale at, whatever the listing fee is, whatever you make a new sale on Etsy. So that's the Etsy listing fee that's going to be in all of these. But then we're going to also be like, okay, if it's $12 and it's $4.80, I know that I am out of pocketing $16.80 already. So I need to put my listed price based on what I want my profit margin to be. Let's say I want my profit to be like 30%. So if I were to do 30% of that, let's just say we are around $40. That is bringing me currently to a net profit margin of $47.35, but I also want to put a 10% discount on the store or on the listing itself, because maybe I want to attract some people to me. I am seeing that it's $32.93 is now my profit margin. And then you're able to come over here and see what the breakdown is for Etsy fees. This is one of the new features that we added in. It used to only be like, what is your profit with like just your COGS, just your cost of goods sold, but we added these fees in there as well to give you that full amount. So right now, if I were to charge $40 for this particular sweatshirt and I were to have a 10% discount on my shop, I would be at around $9.88 for profit as it relates to being a print-on-demand seller. Now, if I do it another way, where I am a handmade seller, and let's say I am doing a piece of wood decor, okay? So I'm selling a handmade piece of wood decor. I would still want to put these in, okay? So let's say the wood itself costs me $5 and I know that I ship out for, through UPS and it's going to cost me around $8 to ship to Florida. So now I'm currently at around $13 in COGS, but maybe there was other materials that I needed. Maybe I needed paint. Maybe I needed framing. Maybe I needed nails, whatever it is. So you would kind of come to that understanding for yourself and your business, what that could be. Let's say we bump it up to 10 and then that's $18 here. So now we're a little bit less on profit, but also the question is that handmade home decor sign going to be competitive at a $40 rate, or can we bump it up even more? Or is everybody else in my space currently charging $25? So let's say they were, and we want to do, $30 with a 10% discount. We are now at a negative net profit. So this Etsy calculator really gives us the opportunity to have the ball in our court and determine what our profit margin will be, rather than making decisions after the fact when we're wondering why we're putting out so much money and not really getting a lot back. So this is a really awesome opportunity for you guys to jump into as well. And then, like I said, the second way that we can do this is by simply actually clicking on a listing itself. So let's say we clicked on this listing and we want to know, like, they're charging $39.50 plus, but they have a 25% discount off right now. Do I need to do that, or are they losing money? We can always also come into the Etsy calculator here and kind of get an understanding of what they're doing. So give or take, with as much information as we have, it looks like they might be making a net profit, just again, on the information that we currently have access to, at around $15. So this definitely might be something to get into if you're in this space. So I hope all of that made sense, but that is what I use the Etsy calculator for, more so for understanding if I can enter into a competitive market and a competitive pricing range, but also where I actually want to be before I ever get a product live. That is a wrap on this video. I hope you enjoyed this full-blown updated EverBee tutorial. If you guys did enjoy this video, please don't forget to boop that like button and click subscribe for more Etsy and e-commerce tips on a literal weekly basis. We post a new video every Tuesday and go live for you guys every single Thursday. And if you're already in love with EverBee, or this video is the thing that got you over that potential objection or hump, and you're ready to learn about EverBee email and how to pair them in a tandem approach that is absolutely going to knock out the competition, I better see you in the beginning of this 4-part series next.